Rockstar dropped a free car worth over $3 million this week. And that's not even close to the best part of this update. There's also a free vehicle warehouse, $1.5 million in free cash, just for showing up and doing a handful of missions, and some of the strongest vehicle cargo bonuses we've seen in a while. So let's run through everything worth grabbing, what you can skip, and where to actually put your time this week. Start with the free money, because that changes how you should be spending your time right now. Just logging into GTA Online this week drops $1 million into your account within 72 hours. No missions required. It just shows up. Rockstar is also running a community series showcase through April 1st, and completing the weekly challenges across the next 3 weeks nets you an extra $500,000 each week stacked on top of that login bonus. Total it all up, and you're looking at $1.5 million in free cash just for logging in and doing a bit of grinding you'd probably be doing anyway. This week's challenge is 5 community series jobs, which takes maybe 20 to 30 minutes depending on what you jump into. Beyond the cash, working through the full showcase over the next 3 weeks unlocks the Homie Shark t-shirt, the Benny's fitted cap, and a new knuckle duster livery for the HVY Night Shark. None of those are life-changing, but $500,000 per week absolutely is. For St. Patrick's Day, the seasonal content runs through March 25th, and logging in automatically gets you the Bolney's festive beer hat on PC, Xbox, and PS5 Enhanced Edition, while everyone on older platforms receives the Bolney's Stout t-shirt instead. Lucky Clover and Garden Clover collectibles are also scattered around the map right now, and grabbing all of them unlocks outfits tied to each set. So do a quick run if you care about the wardrobe. Now let's get into the bonuses, because this is where the real money sits this week. Community series jobs are running at triple money and triple RP right now across stunt races, death matches, all of it. And GTA Plus members see that jump all the way to 6 times money and 6 times RP for the same content. Ron Contact missions specifically are also paying 4 times money and 4 times RP this week. Not all missions across the board, just the ones tied to Ron as your contact. Vehicle cargo is where I'd actually focus, though, and here's why the math works out so well right now. Sale missions are doubled, which means instead of clearing around $80,000 to $100,000 in pure profit per top-range car sold to a specialist dealer, you're walking away with $160,000 per sale, or roughly $200,000 looking at the full value before costs. There's a 20-minute cooldown between each sale, which means 3 cars per hour in an invite-only session, and that works out to $480,000 in pure profit every single hour. Sell in a public lobby at max high demand, and you can multiply that number by 1.5 on top of everything else, which is a rate worth clearing your schedule for. The property discounts this week are what make vehicle cargo genuinely accessible if you haven't gotten into it yet, and the combination on offer right now is hard to beat. The LSIA vehicle warehouse costs nothing this week, $0 for a building that normally runs $2.17 million. The location sits in the south of the map, which isn't the fastest spot for quick sale routes, and there are better warehouse positions out there long-term, but getting into the business for free is the whole point here. One thing worth knowing before you commit: switching warehouses later means selling everything stored in your current one first. So if you grab LSIA now and decide you'd prefer Marietta Heights down the road, you'll need to clear it out before you can make that move. Pick your spot and stick with it. Getting into any vehicle warehouse requires a CEO office first, and all 4 of those are 50% off this week, covering Mays Bank Tower, Arcadius Business Center, Mays Bank West, and Lombank West. Even the most expensive option becomes manageable at half price. And if you've been putting off buying a CEO office, this week removes the main excuse. Grab the office at 50% off, pick up the free warehouse, and you're running a business that's currently paying double on every sale, and that combination doesn't stack up like this very often. The Eclipse Boulevard Garage rounds out the property discounts at 30% off through Dynasty 8 if you need more storage. Vehicle discounts this week have a clear winner. It isn't close. The Ramp Buggy is free this week, 100% off, for a vehicle that normally costs over $3.1 million. If you don't know it, there's a massive ramp mounted on the front that sends anything it hits flying through the air, and driving it around the open world is genuinely one of the more entertaining things you can do in this game. Add it to your garage regardless of what else you do this week. The Lampad Komodo comes in at 30% off, sitting at $1.19 million or just under $900,000 with the trade price, and that's a car worth holding on to long term. The Karen Everon is another strong 30% off buy at $775,000 with trade, and the Karen Sultan Classic in the four-door section land around $900,000 trade price at the same discount. Albany Hermes is $374,000 at 30% off, a big loud muscle car that moves well in a straight line despite being weirdly filed under the luxury class instead of muscle. The Dinka Conjo SJ, which is basically GTA's answer to a Honda Civic, drops from $1 million down to $720,000 this week, and the HVY dump lands at $700,000 instead of $1 million for anyone who needs something that weighs a lot. The Dinka Vito Classic Go-Kart rounds things out at $626,500, available at 30% off at the Diamond Casino. The podium vehicle of the Diamond Casino this week is the Albany Bingham, and there's no point dressing up what it is. Slow, heavy, understeering through corners, rolling through turns unless you kill the suspension, and it takes a while to reach a top speed that most cars in its class already beat without trying. What actually draws people to it is the customization, because with the right livery and modifications you can build it into the Ecto, one from Ghostbusters, and that's the entire appeal. And once it's moving at speed, the weight starts working in your favor, because hitting traffic in this thing just pushes it aside like it wasn't there. Spin the wheel daily and see where it lands. The LS Car Meet prize ride this week is the Grotti Vizion, and this one's genuinely worth grinding for. Placing top 5 in LS Car Meet Series races for 4 days in a row earns you the car, and top 5 is forgiving as a placement threshold. But 4 consecutive days is where consistency becomes the actual challenge. The Vizion retails at $2.25 million, so earning it through the prize ride saves a serious amount of in-game cash. Performance-wise, it ranks among the faster hypercars available, with high top speed, strong acceleration, and good aerodynamic downforce at speed from the body shape and spoiler options. Being rear-wheel drive means oversteer shows up if you push it hard through tight corners. But the feedback the car gives you is clear enough that you'll feel it coming before it becomes a problem. Stay smooth on the throttle coming out of corners, and this car rewards you for it. Salvage yard robberies this week put the Enos Paragon are in the Duggan job, the Vapid Dominator GDT in the cargo ship robbery, and the BF Weevil in the Podium job. None of them are claimable this week, so you're not keeping any of these cars, but the missions are fun if you want the activity. At the LS Car Meet, 3 removed vehicles are sitting there to buy. The Western Cliffhanger at $225,000 is the strongest of the group, a race-ready motorcycle drawing from the Harley-Davidson XR750 that tops out around 125 miles an hour and handles well for racing enthusiasts. The Volker Werner at $120,000 is fast and lightweight, but absorbs crash damage terribly, so keep that in mind before you commit. The Dinka Veneta ATV at $192,000 has a specific quirk worth mentioning. The saddlebag in the spoiler slot actually improves traction and downforce, which is strange but real. Simeon's dealership has 5 removed vehicles this week, and the Dinka Jester at $240,000 is the one to actually spend money on. Drawn from the 2015 Honda NSX, it handles well in all weather conditions, holds a competitive top speed, and takes damage better than most cars at that price. At $240,000, there's almost no reason to skip it. The Benefactor Serrano at $110,000 is also worth picking up just because it's cheap, rear-wheel drive, smooth, and handles cleanly, and you're not losing much if it turns out not to be your style. The Grotti Stinger convertible at $850,000 leans more towards style than performance. The Nagasaki Hot Rod Blazer at $69,000 will fling you off randomly in corners, which you'll either love or hate, and the Weena Dynasty isn't worth the money for what it delivers. That covers everything for this update. Vehicle cargo double money is the priority this week, and it makes even more sense if you grab the free LSIA warehouse paired with a discounted CEO office first, because that combination sets you up to earn from day 1 at 0 startup cost. After that, grind the LS Car Meet races and stay consistent for 4 days to earn the Vizion without spending $2.25 million. Tomorrow's video has the full money guide and the free DLC vehicle breakdown. So subscribe if you want those early. Drop a like if any of this helped you out, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.